Hey there, it's Rusty Nelson, your college art professor, and we're talking watercolor today. Welcome, new viewers and returning viewers, all of you who are interested in getting started with a creative journey, something to do, get out of the house, give yourself a hobby, learn something new. All those are all very good reasons for getting started on doing something with art and drawing and watercolors. So it is vlog 83, episode 46, and I am really glad you're here, and I hope everybody did have a happy Thanksgiving. I did a Thanksgiving episode last week, and I came back this week with a frog. I think my students gave it to me before we went back and saw all the family with all the kids. So the kids didn't give it to me. My 20-year-olds gave me this frog. So I'm fighting my way through it. I barely have a voice, so I am a bit croaky. But I'm really glad you're tuned in today, and I hope everything is going well as 2025 is coming to an end. We're in our last month. I have some 2025 goals that I'm going to try to wrap up, at least get my finger on a couple of them right before the end of the year. So I start my third season on January 4th. So I need to sit down and do some goal setting. May 2026 is the end of my teaching career in higher education. I'm going to be retiring in mid-May, and we'll be starting our transition back away from this little college town into the area where I grew up in north central Kansas. So we're looking forward to that, and we're going to be pretty busy. We're going to have a house to be working on and renovating. So that sounds kind of fun and should keep me busy, along with everything I'm doing on this channel with these tutorials in watercolor and drawing. If you hadn't noticed, I did post my last two posts 2 Saturdays ago, and then just last Saturday were figure drawing and or face portrait drawing and watercolor. So get in there, go take a look on both of those if you're interested in drawing faces and portraits, and then also doing watercolor with the figures. So they're both fun. I like doing figures. I actually, when I was in grad school, I did a lot of painting of people and did that for a number of years even after grad school. So it wasn't until maybe 10, 15 years ago I started transitioning into working more and more, expanding my subject matter base out a little further beyond just people and scenes with people in them. And they weren't even really scenes. They were more like little stories, little vignettes, and captured moments of people doing certain things. I worked with a lot of antique photographs, and that was something that I was really preoccupied with for quite a while. And I worked with these black and white photographs for so many years that I just naturally started injecting my own color palette. Working really hyper saturated colors into my gouache paintings, and that all just ultimately transitioned into watercolor, which then led me into doing more and more landscapes and scenes and architecture, stuff like that. Stuff I can roll, kind of go around in my area and find subject matter and do those kind of things. And that was a lot of fun. So hopefully that's what you're coming into this channel interested in learning, is the techniques and the skill sets that can get you out of the house and head out and look for subject matter and interesting scenes and test your creative eye and your creative technical skills, your hand-eye coordination, and get those onto a piece of paper. So welcome in. So I have those two figure-oriented things. I do have landscape coming up, an old barn watercolor scene, a nice little landscape with a barn in it. I've been doing the requests. People drop them in there, and I've been doing like a frog, and let's see what else. There were some birds. I think some people wanted a red-breasted. I can't remember what it was. So a bird. I love doing birds. Birds were my go-to tutorial for my college students in my illustration class for years. So, but I did get a request from Mel in the UK to. He asked if he could send me a photograph of an image he took while on vacation in the UK, and if I could possibly do it as a demo so that he could also see my process in putting it together and then follow along while I'm painting. I thought, man, that's genius. That's a great idea. So Mel sent me a really cool looking photograph. It's a water scene, a skyscape, and a water scene. Kind of looks like either a sunset after the sun is set. So there's the nice orange glow in the sky, transitioning into blues and stuff. So plus it's got some boats in it. So as a Kansas landlocked Kansas farm boy, it's kind of interesting to do those water scenes and apply my watercolor skills to something that I really don't have that much straight up personal experience with. So I thought that would be fun. So I'm going to be doing that tutorial here soon. And I did mention in, I think, my previous Talking Watercolor that, and it might even have been in one of the the face drawing tutorials, where the Loomis, the Reilly method, anything drawing faces, people are really interested in that. These videos generate the strongest reactions, whether they're for Loomis or whether they're against it. And then being able to draw or accurately do a portrait, let's say, let's catch a likeness. Boy, people are unforgiving when it comes to your skill sets in that. So I can draw a pretty good face. I can capture a sound face. I do have, I can catch a likeness every so often if I get all of my measurements. If I'm working really hard and taking time to get those measurements correct. But a lot of times with the videos and the tutorials I'm doing these for real time, because I've kind of discarded all of the old speed up. Let's speed up the stuff and cut out 3/4 of the process, and I've opted to kind of keep with the real time tutorials and try to talk my way through it as I'm doing it, even though sometimes my ability for comprehensive speech eludes me as I'm starting to focus and try to get something to look good. But like the last drawing tutorial I did was a 15-minute warm-up sketch, and it's really just a process. In a figure drawing class, you start out with those really quick gestural sketches and loosening up your hand and eye and your mark making and everything, and then you extend them out just a little bit at a time, maybe 4 or 5 minute long sketches, and then you kick up the 3 or 4 5-minute, maybe 2 or 3 10-minute, until you get up to about a 15 30-minute 45-minute, and even getting into, especially if it's a Tuesday Thursday class, you can do all of those kind of iterations of extended time portraits until you can get to the point where you're all warmed up, got your hand and eye coordination all going, and then you go for the hour and a half long drawing. And that's all normally in an in-person class, in studio, with a live model. And there is a big difference from drawing from life as opposed to drawing with a photograph. And I actually got one of those comments, or I saw something on Instagram or YouTube about, there is a big difference about drawing from life, and it definitely is a skill to take that three-dimensional person out there and then translate it to 2D, because with photo reference and stuff, a lot of the decisions, a lot of the cropping, a lot of the lighting, all of that stuff's been decided already for you, and you don't have to make any of those critical decisions because the camera's already done it. So, and that's why I'm always stressing too that, I'm not really trying to match the photograph, pixel by pixel in that image. That I'm just using it for data, and I'm doing my own interpretation of it. I'm not working with photorealism. I am doing representational art, but I'm not doing necessarily photorealism. And I'm just done with that. I'm not interested in doing that. But I think so many of the people that are interested in doing art, they make that gauge. That's the gauge of good or bad, is, how close can you make it to that photograph. So, and that's the thing. I think a lot of times people maybe who haven't done art classes or gone through an art program, they don't realize that that's not the gauge that people are really going for. It's more of the self-internalizing desires of what you're trying to express, your technique, how you go about making a mark, and then using that image to express something, whatever that something might be. And that's the intent, that's the purpose, that people are trying to, create and express themselves, not so much match the photographic reference. So, I had a lot of good comments out here. I need to get some of these responded. I've also been very poor at posting on Patreon. Sorry about that. Or even getting something posted and getting it out to my Facebook page, or making comments in my community tab in YouTube. So yeah, I'm just a bad social media person. So I'm just all enraptured with making the videos. So I had somebody good here. It's like Loomis is only good for hits out on YouTube. So, and I agree that my biggest YouTube videos are all about Loomis and that. And it's not. I mean, it's not that I don't use it. I use it, but really in a very sketchy manner, where a lot of the tutorials you see of people, they make a very elaborate, very precise Loomis mannequin of the head of the figure, whatever, before they ever start working on it. But I know from experience in the classroom using Loomis, you have to work a lot faster than those videos are demonstrating. And so you really don't have time in studio with a live model to be that precise. You have to start learning a quicker shorthand method, or at least mentally internalizing what Loomis does for you and helps you position the characters. And you just simply have to get better at spontaneously getting those things in position. And that's why it's so important to do those quick warm-ups and extend out the time, but do different poses. Don't just focus on one pose for 2 hours and 50 minutes. Get in there and do about 20 poses and various lengths before you start in on the longer, good watercolor, the drawing, whatever it is, before you really commit to the good ones. So good comments this week. Sorry I'm so froggy. That's kind of what's going to be coming up. I've got that, the nice landscape scene for Mel. And keep an eye out for it, Mel. We'll be doing that very soon. I do have the barn already recorded. I just have to get it edited and ready to post. And I'm going to do some more faces, some more Loomis faces, or just faces in general, just trying to catch that likeness. Just more practice. I need more practice myself. So, hey, I'm a college professor. I don't get to sit around and draw faces all day. It's on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule when I get to teach figure drawing. And other than that, I have to make myself do it just like you do if you're trying to do it yourself. So that's the key, though, is to do it something scheduled, something consistent, and do it religiously until you can really start building those skills. So, hey, I hope you got something out of today's Talking Watercolor. And if you did, please give me a like and a subscribe. Drop me some comments. Those are very helpful. I do respond to them, and I do consider them as content for my channel as well. So they really do help a lot. And if you think I am doing anything really good on this channel, providing these free tutorials and lessons and demos, the same things I do in my college classes, please give me a $5 a month Patreon membership. That helps immensely. And I have 2 digital products about watercolor, going from beginner to intermediate in 15 weeks. I have a calendar of projects that you can do if you work a 3-day-a-week schedule for 15 weeks. It'll get you from beginner to intermediate. And then I have an extended version of that. It's more like a syllabus. It's a multiple page, and it gives you kind of the breakout of what you're going to learn and the goals and objectives for each week. So get out there and buy those. Those things really help as well. And I really do appreciate it. And I really want to say thank you again for watching this year. If you're a new viewer, come on in for this coming year. You're going to learn a lot. And thank you for everybody who's already been watching and have subscribed. You guys are really, I am very thankful for it. I don't think I said that clearly last week in my Thanksgiving post, but really, I am so thankful for everybody who's watching. And I'll see you next week, Talking Watercolor.